Hello one and all, and welcome to Pathologic. My name is Owen, and I will be doing a Let's Play of this wonderful, beautiful and brilliant game. This game was originally made in 2005, had a very notoriously botched translation, which in many cases I feel actually made it somewhat better and more enjoyable in many ways. So, this game recently had a re-release called Pathologic Classic HD, in which the initially abysmal translation has been redone. I'll be running you through the various different playthroughs of this game. The way that I'm going to be running this game is I'm going to be doing essentially a completionist playthrough. So, unlike my other colleagues of YouTube, as it were, who will be doing effectively blind playthroughs, I'm going to try to do this game as completely as I can, showing as many of the secrets as I can find and as much of the story as is possible. This is not a blind playthrough for me regardless. I did play and complete the original game several years ago, and it remains one of my favourite games to date. So, without further ado, let's begin.
So, it's all about trickery to you? Wherever have you come from?
No. I detest trickery. But if we ourselves are to suffer deception, our hands are no longer tied. Where are we?
Well, the muscular contraction is there. Means you're already inside of him. This must be one of the ventricles, right here.
What a silly place. It's stuffed. So it's not real for now? I don't think it has started yet.
Does it matter what it's made of? It's definitely struggling. We need to perform sectio transversalis. Cut the wall. There's no other way out. What else is there to do?
I know what to do. Those who favor hard logic and direct action are bound to be misguided. Only a miracle can set us free without us having to destroy something. And I can do miracles. Just let me.
Will you please be quiet? You're a liar and a thief. Who is going to believe you when you keep lying to yourself? The truth is my shepherd. Whatever happens, I will find answers, and justice will be restored. I will perform the operation. Medica morbo adhibe.
Don't you go all bossy on me, clever clogs. You will act justly, but your justice will blind you and become his demise. This calls for the gentle hand of a surgeon. Step aside, both of you.
Your gentle hands are used to killing, not giving life. You will inevitably do harm. As for Brainy, he has no regard for casualties at all. Neither of you knows compassion.
Yes, it seems unlikely that we'll get along well, but there's only one truth.
Any choice is right as long as it's willed. That's the truth of the matter.
Only the heart will show you the right choice. Stop thinking about yourselves. Think of the sick. He's in pain. I can't see it yet, but I can feel it.
It's not even a trap. It's a grave. Subipsum funis sumus. Can't say I hold a soft spot for it.
I can see that. You're full of hate. Stuffed or not, it's breathing. I can hear it. It can be healed rather than killed.
You mean you won't become a killer? But you will. Mark my word, that's exactly what will happen. But I can avoid it.
No, we won't ever get along. I suggest we be on our way. The sooner the better.
Off we go then?
Let's go. The clock is ticking.
So that was a little stage play to set the scene. On the stage are our three major characters: the Bachelor, Daniel Dankowski, dressed all in black; the Haruspeck, so Artemi Barak, dressed in not black; and Clara, our resident homeless magical girl, being all mystical and confusing up at the front. Our three major players are the three different healers who each believe they have the one solution to fixing this town. This town is about to undergo a rather large and destructive plague. So, let's find out a little bit about our characters, shall we? Through the course of this playthrough, I will be playing all three of them. It will take me some time, but I fully intend to show you as much as I can with them. So, The Bachelor. The history of humanity witnessed a number of catastrophes that have demonstrated without a shadow of a doubt the pettiness of human achievement and the triumph of the invincible evil. Outbreaks of infectious diseases have, from time to time, wiped towns and cities off the map, are undoubtedly among those. However smart and virtuous, the people caught up in these destructive events have repeatedly come to the conclusion that it's simply no use trying to fight these circumstances. The best you can do is bite the bullet and hope to cope with your losses. This is the story of a person who's managed to work a miracle and defeat a seemingly unvanquishable foe. Shall we?
Daniil Dankovsky, a Bachelor of Medicine, was brought here by circumstances most unfortunate. Dankovsky's life work, his theory challenging the existing notions of human mortality, is being harshly persecuted by the powers that be. Suddenly, a letter arrives from a colleague suggesting that there is previous undiscovered evidence which may support Dankovsky's claims. There is a settlement, the letter says, ruled by an extraordinary man who may well be seen as objective proof of Dankovsky's daring hypothesis. Grasping at straws of hope, Dankovsky decides to follow what he believes to be the sign of divine providence. Without further ado, he sets off for the settlement. Late at night, Bachelor arrives in the town. As he seeks room and board, he gets to know a girl called Eva Yan and stays at her place till dawn.
So, within that opening cinematic, we saw Daniel, current protagonist dressed in the long black coat, and several of the town's leaders. The scantily clad woman at the end was Evian, who will be our host for the next few days with. And so the game begins. Apparently it begins again. As of today, my mission remains obscure. The examination of Simon Kane, who is rumoured to be a man of incredible longevity, may shake the very foundation of modern thanatos and challenge the existent notions of death itself. However, even if this undying Leviathan proves to be more than a fairy tale, the mere confirmation of his existence won't suffice to prevent the powers that be from shutting my laboratory down. I need to figure out the most fruitful approach. Simon is a well-respected man, and if he mistakes my interest for effrontery, it would be nigh impossible to convince him to help me break new ground in the field of human vitality. So, Daniel, as you may have worked out, is in the study of thanatology, which is the study of death. He's essentially going full Frankenstein at this point. Full Dr. Frankenstein, I mean. So, the game begins. This is the room in which we've been afforded, which is rather nice. Unfortunately, there's nothing around in true RPG style. I'm trying to loot all the cupboards that I can. And exploring and poking all the things that I can. Unfortunately, there's nothing of worthy value to really loot here, or take here. Which is probably just as well, given that my hostess has been so very nice to me. I feel this image probably encapsulates Eva Jan's mindset quite well. Make of that what you will.
I had a feeling you would come.
Did the sounds from the outside wake you up too? There was a terrible groan, and then something snapped loudly. No, I heard nothing. I think there are strangers in the backyard, by the pond. They're unlikely to be planning mischief, but I have a bad feeling about this. I'm afraid to go out to them. I hope they go away soon and stop disturbing our sleep. Why do you think they aren't planning anything foul? Our population is so thin. Crime is basically non-existent, especially here in the Stoneyard, the rich district. Sometimes there are pranks, of course. Fights happen occasionally. People are young here, so they often go out at night. But we're a tight community. Now I hear unfamiliar speech. That's not a good sound. I'll go out and take a look, but I'm in a hurry. I must see this founding father of yours. Are you willing to trade the company of a fascinated woman for that of a dreadful old man, even if he is a sorcerer? That's so sad. But Simon won't go anywhere. He always has been, he always will be. Even if the moon were to fall to the ground. Please, stay with me a little longer. Simon is a sorcerer? Did I hear you right? Is that the secret to his longevity? Are you in that much of a hurry? Do come round. The Canes are asleep now. Take your knockabout coat. Oh, fucking hell. Have a rest in my bed. Let me warm your hands. Hands. You're so anxious to see Simon, as though your life depended on it. My life, yes. Now that my laboratory is on the brink of destruction, my whole life's pursuit depends on that remarkable man. If he really has managed to live that long, then his tissues will help me defeat death. Death? So that's the enemy you've chosen for yourself. Isn't it hard? I don't think anyone here has managed to defeat that evil yet. Millions of doctors defeated it on certain singular occasions, but my enemy is more fearsome. It is death itself, rather than any singular cause of death. I don't understand. I can barely understand it myself. Could death only seem inevitable to us, but in reality be nothing more than the whim of a will that has shaped this word? That is the question. So, where is the key to my victory, aka, show me where Simon lives? It's not far. The Canes live at the Crucible, on Bridge Square. But could I please offer you a piece of advice? Go on. Simon has two younger brothers. The eldest of the two, Georgie, sorry, I mispronounced that. I'm sorry to any native Russian speakers. Is called the Judge by the locals. Visit him first. He isn't asleep. I'll teach you how to speak with Simon. The youngest of the three is Victor. His daughter, Maria, also wanted to see you. It's probably important. Was it she who knew about my arrival beforehand? Yes, she told me about it privately. Talking to her is no simple task. Maria is that kind of a person. She puts on airs, but that's just how the Canes are. It was Maria who told me that she would help you defeat death. That's the precise wording. What a coincidence. Alright, well, thank you for the advice. Go, and I'll prepare everything for your return. Do come back after you speak to the Canes. They will probably do a lot of things that will puzzle you and put you on guard. I will have some advice that may be of help to you, if you need it. Okay, I'll come back. So this is our town map. We've been asked to go here, the red handprint. We are currently here, this little arrow, that little white square, or white circle even. of little notes from the game. So in this case, the mansion called the Stillwater belongs to a single girl called Eva Jan. An accidental midnight encounter provided me with a lovely companion and temporary lodging. Over here is the mysterious Maria, Victor Kane's daughter. She has been expecting my arrival for several days. She seems to know more about me than I do. And here is Simon Kane, the man of improper longevity. He's waiting for me here. Hope he sympathizes with my request. I only need a living evidence of the impossible. Well, thank you, Eva, for that interesting set of advice. So, outside we go. And outside waiting for us were two figures, the stagehands to this infernal play. Let's go talk to the bird first, see what he has to say. Halt! I'm going to have to teach you about the technicalities of the setting, the time and the place. It's non-essential, but that's just how it is. The actor has to be prepared before he goes on stage, or else he'll fall down the aisle or stumble upon the prompt box. That would look mighty silly, wouldn't you agree? You're going to have to teach me? Aren't you forgetting your manners? My manners? There are different manners of life and thought, none of them mine. If everything goes awry, you'll need to get a chance to witness each of them. That is something you should probably try to avoid. As for now, please forgive my rudeness. I'm in a special position here, and so I have the right to be blunt sometimes. And who are you? An actor in a tragic mime show. That's unimportant. Will you listen to me or not? I'm listening. Time flies by. It cannot be stopped, it cannot be turned back. Nights follow days, which are then followed by nights. Things happen without any regard for whether you are there to witness them. Don't expect anyone to wait for you. Most events can be missed. And so, it would make sense for you to visit the places that you care about regularly. You'll find the people that will play major roles in your fate here. They stand out from the common folk, the rest are just a crowd shot, a background, a bunch of extras. As it always has been. Indeed. Still, it is best to avoid hasty judgment. It's a paradox, you see. Don't try to care too much for the lives of these bound to stand out people. And don't be too dismissive of the silent crowd. Both extremes shall end in tragedy. And why is that? This world cares for your reputation. A fine and crucial instrument. Your reputation changes the world you see, for it is a mirror, wouldn't you agree? And so, a bad reputation can get you in a lot of trouble. For example? Oh, need I describe? You've got a vivid imagination. Everything changes from mystical aspects to mundane things like the people you need treating you badly. How many enemies you've got, how high the prices rise, how bad your dreams are. A lot of things. A sorry prospect to be sure. So how do I maintain my reputation? Really? How is that even a question? Same as anywhere. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not betray, do not steal, do not covet, do not be an asshole. Don't get caught. The rules are the same everywhere. A truly selfless deed, like risking something for thy neighbour, or even a person who lives quite far away, can indeed help a dire situation. I see. Really? Good for you then. As for me, I can't see anything in this mask. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, don't get too worked up about human lives. Don't put too much stock in other words. Mine included. He who trusts everyone is asking to be deceived. Yet he who trusts no one is deluded. I know that one from experience. Hello, Mr. Mime. The tragedian. What does he have to tell me today? Venerable Bachelor, please be so kind as to linger for a minute. This conversation won't take too much of your time, especially since time stops during dialogues, at least during the important ones, and our dialogue is extremely important. You need to know how to play, after all, don't you? Play? What are you talking about, Mask Man? I'm neither a gambler nor an actor. Of course you aren't. You are a living, breathing man, as is evident from your conditions and statuses. You experience hunger, thirst, and fatigue. You suffer from pain, wounds, and diseases. You're so lifelike. You have to eat, drink, sleep, and rest. And you have to make mistakes. The latter being the most definitive proof of my human nature, wouldn't you agree? If I may, I would like to point out just how important it is to keep an eye on your condition. If you get dizzy or unnaturally sluggish, do have it checked up. Vital processes tend to run faster during emergencies than in everyday life. I knew a person who died of stress but was diagnosed with starvation. It happens. I can testify to that as a doctor. Need I remind a wise man like you of the fact that hunger is satiated with food? Food can be found in shops, and shops can be found in ordinary houses that are marked with specific signs. Sleep, however, is more complicated. Sleep... well, people only sleep in beds and only in private residences around here. I'm sorry, but that is just the way our world is. Yes, the world is unjust. And quite silly, if you forgive me for saying so. Speaking of commerce, different shops sell similar items at different prices. Make sure you don't get cheated. People can be quite brazen around here. You can also barter with the folk out in the street. Some things may be nothing more than trinkets to you, but others would be willing to part with their life's blood for them. Your blood? Yes, blood. It is not my place to lecture you, but if, following your Hippocratic oath, you even consider taking someone else's pain, feel free to just approach them with a suitable drug. You will see their pain receding before your very eyes. The sick fall asleep when they're close to recovery, don't they? Or when they're close to their ultimate rest. Still, helping the hopeless will grant you a good reputation. You will be seen as a benefactor willing to part with a precious sleeping draught or painkiller for a simple bystander. Is there anything else? No? No, not yet. Show me the way to Simon's house. Turn left now. Then walk along the alley. You will see a cathedral and 3 mansions across Bridge Square. Simon lives in the one that is closest to the river. Thank you. So, as you may have gathered from these conversations with the tragedian and the executor, they are akin to stagehands, and they are explaining to me the game's mechanics. These mechanics, like most games, include a health bar, hit points, but unlike most games, they also include other survival elements, such as hunger, sleepiness, stress, fatigue, and perhaps one of the most interesting ones of the game, the infection marker, which will come up when the plague starts. I'll explain each of these in turn as they become relevant, although most of them should be fairly obvious as to what they mean. Essentially, Daniel Gankovsky needs to sleep and eat in order not to die. He also needs to not get shot. He's probably going to have some difficulties with that, though. So, this is Eve's house. It's rather large. And around the back, she did mention to us a couple of ne'er-do-wells. I think, perhaps, this is a good time to pause, and I will see you all next time when we chat to these strange folk.